Hi everybody, it's Julie. Don't they look so pretty side by side? We have the one with the sewn cover that has its pages put in here in a flow-like way, just with the bead here holding the headband. Okay, and now we are going to go ahead and we are going to add our signature to this one. Okay, so this one is going to get its pages, and isn't it so pretty? Okay, so we're going to want to go through and check our pages. First thing, make sure that things are lined up the way we want them. I want this to be, for mine, I want it in the middle of this square or as close to it. And things move around while they've been, while we've been busy. Now, if you want to add, we have 18 pages in there. I usually like to do 20. If you want to add some more papers, you can add like coffee dyed papers or regular papers, or maybe you have in your stash some papers that would match. And so you might add like 2 more pages into your journal if you like. Just know that I won't have them, and I'm not going to add to this one. So here we go. Make sure that we're all even. There's our coffee dyed fold up page. Creative folding. And I think that one's placement is fine. This one, I like that it's down at the bottom, or that they're kind of different, but I think I want it up just a little because we'll be adding things to the bottom of these pages. So there we go. And there will be more bulk down here than in the middle, is what I'm thinking. Okay, and then we have this, and then I want to make sure that you added your doily. We have our heart doily is going to be our center of our signature, and after we put this in, we're going to actually glue this down. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that we are, there we go, fold it back so that your crease is good. Okay, now we have 8.5 size papers in and our outside is 9 inches, so we want to leave about 1/4 inch top and bottom. Okay, now this is a single signature. This is probably the easiest thing to bind. I am going to go ahead and we'll set it to the side here. I have a little box that I keep my binding materials in. I have embroidery thread. Okay, so this is embroidery thread. I have 4 large paper clips. 4 large paper clips. And my pokey tool, and I have a needle. Okay, so there's the needle, and then I can put my binding kit back where it goes. Okay, so now I need a binding guide or template, and today what I'm going to use is this sticker paper. It's the backing for a sticker box, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to measure. I'm going to cut right at 9 inches there. And I am going to use my cutter because I do want this to be, it's for measuring, so I want it to be straight. I'm going to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, so I do want the guide. Okay, so that from the outside, okay, so I just cut that off. I actually am going to throw that away. And Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and fold this because we need a I'm going to use a bone folder to get a really good crease. Now you can do this, a lot of times I'll do this with graph paper. Some of my other videos show this part done with graph paper, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my bone folder. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crease it this way. Okay. This will give me a really good crease. Now I'm going to pull out my ruler, and I should have 9-inch. Okay, first let's put very, very important, one of the most important things, not so much on a single signature, but when you're doing more than one, you're going to want the top of your template to be marked. Okay, so now we are going from up to 9. Okay, so this is 9 inches. Half of 9 is 4.5. Okay, I'm on the wrong side. I was using the wrong side of the... Okay, let's see. There's 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 inch. So half of 9 is 4.5. So I'm going to mark 4.5 here. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to bring it down, and I want to mark for this one 1 7/8. So right here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it down, and I'm going to do it again, 1 7/8. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the other direction, and I can put the line on 7/8 and mark it at the end. And I can put my mark on 1 7/8 and mark it at the end. Okay, now we're going to go ahead, open this up, and move our mark to the center, because it's kind of on the edge, remember. Okay, and we are going to fold this again like this one more time. Get our really good fold and put our top in the top. Line it up with the top of our journal. Make sure we're in, and I am going to place my paper clips with the larger side to the inside of the book, because that's where things are going to move around, and I don't want them to move. Okay, so there we go, just like that. Now check and make sure we didn't pull on our cover. Okay, and make sure we can fold and pull our center in. Now some people will put this in a book, a telephone book, or that type of thing. I don't do that. I'm going to use my pokey tool, and my pokey tool is a push pin. Easy to find, and because of my thumb, this is just what I've discovered is the easiest. I push it through and I wiggle it around, because I'm using the smallest needle that I can. I've already got mine threaded. I'm using the smallest needle that I can thread, because I want the smallest hole in my binding. So here we go. Pushing it in and wiggling it around so that when I go to push my needle through, it goes through super easy. Pushing it in. And remember, we have, on this one, we have glue, so it's a little bit harder to get through. And you know, even with, when you are just doing a single signature, you can go straight to this. But there we go. There we go. I got it in. You can also use an awl. I have a few. This one was, I have this one that was gifted to me. I have, these ones are more like for quilling, but they work. You just use them to push through. Okay. But I really like my pokey tool. Since I've been using this little push pin, works really well. So now I'm going to turn it this way. Make sure I'm still in the center. And I'm going to go to this one. And push through. I should have used the other as my example. The one that didn't have glue in it. See, to me, these feel dangerous. Okay. And push. Okay. And going around. Want to be able to see it from the other side as well. Okay, so now for my string, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, and then I usually do a little bit more, and I cut it off. And then I thread my needle. And lately I've been trying to thread the needles and have them ready before I start my video, because otherwise you're watching me thread needles. It's not fun. Okay, so next you're going to take your template out carefully. Okay. Line up your things. And then you can go ahead and add, one of the things I do is sometimes I'll add a paper clip to the end, and that just keeps it from pulling through and being very frustrating, because yes, I've had it happen. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this one more time on each hole when I go to do it, because of the glue. Okay, so there, I'm going to pull it to about where the edge of the page would be. Come up here to the next hole. I like to go up. Okay, find the hole on the back side and push it through. And the wiggle on your thing is what makes this happen so much easier. Okay, so through, wiggle. Okay, there we go. Now we are going to come back through this one here. So I am going to pull this a little bit to the side and up. And that's just so that I don't catch on this thread, hopefully, when I go through. I hate binding on camera, you guys. Only for only for these start to done videos. If you want to see a funny video, I have a video where I did pretty much everything wrong while I was making the video. And I'll attach it. Okay, let's see if I can get... You guys, my thumb doesn't help here, so... Sometimes you need a little help pulling it through. Okay. So again, I'm going to pull this one up and push this one through. And that's just so that it doesn't get tangled, hopefully. Okay, and now our next one is down here. Gonna give it a little extra wiggle because I am struggling with this glued back, and I want it to just do that. That's what I want it to do. So just making the hole big enough that your needle can go through. And like I said, I use the smallest needle that I can thread. Okay. So now you want to pull and make sure all of your threads are tight. We still have our little paper clip here that thinks it should. Okay, if we go this way, pull it this way, I should be able to pull it that way and through. Okay, so very important that you are tight so that your journal sticks into the cover. And then okay, so I'm going to go under this second stitch. I'm going to come through and tie a knot. Okay, I'm going to pull it tight, but not too tight. You don't want to break it. And I'm going to tie it again. And, you know, for good measure, we'll tie it one more time. Okay, so then we can go ahead and come in and either untie or cut off our little thread there. And now if you're going to attach something to your signature strings, right now is a good time. If you are going to put, you know, say a sequin on the bottom that has a hole, right now is a good time to do that while you have the needle already threaded and on it. Got glue. So just so you have that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and take my needle off. I'm going to take my paper clips off. If you have, if you stitched up here, be careful when you're taking your paper clips off because they they might want to try and get into the stitching, okay, because you'll have stitching across. So there we go. We have stitched in our signature into our journal. And one of the things I like to do is go through and, you know, just admire it and push it down. Push down each page, breaking the where it thinks it's supposed to be. So that's what I'll do. And now we have our journal and we're ready to work with it. So that will be in the next video. We will be closing up our pockets and beginning to work with some of the pages. And then we'll get right to decorating. Okay. So of course, you know, what we're doing here, you can follow along, or you can do your own thing. So there we go. We have our journal is stitched. And I mean, really, you could have a journal made quite quickly if you needed one for a gift, especially if you have the sewing machine and don't have to wait for the stuff the glue to dry. Okay, so there you go. And I'll see you in the next video. Hope it's going well.